Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Points of Articulation. My name's Dave and if you're new to the channel, welcome. Today I'm looking at the Hot Wheels Star Wars Hype Fazon's Green Ace, which first appeared in Star Wars Resistance. Now this craft is a modified G30 vessel and it was used as a racer piloted by a Rhodian named Hype Fazon. Now, as we can see, looking at this, on the side we do have a decal there. In the shell, this is plastered with tons of different sponsor logos. And to be honest, I like the idea of that. It adds another layer of realism to the Star Wars universe. Very similar to how we see in America the NASCARs and different racing groups. They have a lot of sponsors they plaster on the sides as well. So it makes sense in my mind anyway. Now, besides that, this particular craft does have movable wings. So that's pretty awesome. Now they are movable, not like X-Wings that have S-foils. However, these are meant to move to have better mobility in the race course. So again, pretty interesting stuff so far. So for this model's size, we're looking at about 3 inches long, which is pretty cool. So we do have a lot to cover. We're going to take a look at the mold, the paint, put it back on the stand, compare it to some other vessels, and then we'll be done. So let's get moving. And now let's kick off this review looking at the mold. Like in all my videos, I will go over all the major sections of the vehicle, and then we'll get a nice close-up look to see all those fine details. Now, in my opinion, this ship looks like some sort of offshoot from a Z-95 Headhunter or an X-Wing Starfighter. It has many design elements that we're used to, such as the laser cannons, engines, wings, and fuselage, but configured in a way that's different than what we're normally used to seeing. And for that, it works and does stand out in the collection. So let's go over the parts of this bad boy. We have our laser cannons, our wings, our engines. Looking good, we can see some little details there. Our fuselage, canopy, looking very cool. Now right here should be an astromech droid, but the interesting thing is, on this particular model, it has some nice detailing and then everything just stops right in back of the canopy. There's nothing there and I find that very odd. Now for the underneath, we have 2 rivets holding it together, connector port for the stand, and copyright crap. Now, I did mention that the wings are able to move. They go up about that high and drop about that low. And that's it. Now, the crude mechanism they have is a simple little rectangle which acts like a stopper. So, it's very simplistic, but it works. All in all, I like the design on here, and that covers all the major parts of this bad boy. So now, let's get a closer look. Alright, starting off with our close-up look, we'll begin with the whole fuselage, starting with the bottom and working our way to the top, and then we'll take a look at the engines and then those wings. So on the bottom here, we have some minor detailing, not much to write home about, our copyright crap, some minor line work here. Coming to the aft section, we have our 2 rivets, connector port for the stand, and then this is where the real detail begins. We have our section here with some modules. Comes up, and this is my favorite part of the ship. I love this, the recesses, the little modules. Excellent stuff. I think that came out great. And I love the lip here, where the top of the ship meets the bottom. Very nice. And we have this nice module here. And the detail wraps around to the top section of the ship. We can see some line work modules. And I like this section, very reminiscent of an X-Wing. Looking good, and then the detail just disappears. No molding, no astromech, just blank. They just painted it. And it looks sort of weird since it's boxed off on this side, but what are you going to do, right? Now we have the canopy, which is looking fantastic. The windows are minorly recessed, but very nice. Look at that from the other side. Fantastic. I think that came out great. Then we have some minor molding in the front. Looking good. And then some molding and line work in the front. Very nice. Now for the sides of the ship. We can see some line work here. And the paint sort of rounds everything out. So some of the details lost in the sauce. But it's not bad. You can tell where the line work is. And then we have some paint chip in here. Which it came like that. Ugh. But the detailing on the side is very nice. We have some recess work with modules in there. Very nice. More line work. Just some awesome stuff, and that continues all the way underneath the canopy and working our way back up to the engines. Very nice. And it's the same for this side as well. I really think they did a decent job with this ship. Very different, very unique in my opinion. So now let's take a look at those engines. And now looking at those engines, what I'm going to do is, since this ship is very symmetrical, I'm going to take a good look at one engine, one wing, and one laser cannon. But before I do so, I did want to briefly talk about the mechanism used to open the wings. Now, as we know, as I mentioned before, it does open like so, and we have these little rectangles which keeps the wings from moving farther down. Now, when it's in a closed position or down position, you could hardly tell. It looks good, especially on a stand. You can't even tell. Now, when you open the wings, that's when the rectangles pop out. And I guess you could cut them with an X-Acto knife, but that's up to you. To me, it really doesn't bother me. But you can definitely see they do pop out. But again, when you have it on a stand, you don't even notice. But I just wanted to bring that up so that way everybody knows at home. And now finally that engine. So here we have the front, and it's recessed in for the intake. Very nicely done. Now the odd thing with this ship is, as we can see here with the recessed sections around the intake, it seems that all the details are rounded out and sort of dulled down, as we can see right here. Sort of looks like a bottle cap. So it does have detail, it's just sort of washed away, if that makes any sense. But moving down, we have our hinge mechanism, and then the aft section of the engine. Pretty cool. I like the end here, how it's recessed. Pretty sharp. I think that came out great. Looking to the top. Very nice. Coming down, detail continues. We have our mechanism, and then back to the front. All in all, pretty awesome. So now moving on to the wing. We have some molding right here attached to the engine. Moving up, I love the panels on this thing. We have some nice recessed lines separating all of them. Pretty sharp, and then some modules up here. Pretty sick, and that goes all the way up to the laser cannon. Now the fronts of the wings are detailed as well. Just minor molding. And that goes for the aft section as well. Pretty dope. Now for the top of the wing, we do have some nice molding attached to the engine, like the bottom. Love the design there. Then we have that line work, paneling, and this nice strip coming down from the laser cannon. Very nice. And nothing is flat. As you can see, it's all layered. So that's pretty sick. Now for the laser cannon, it's what we're used to seeing. Nothing really special. There we go. Coming down, some nice molding. Now I do think it came out good. Little hair there. What's up with that? And for the bottom, pretty sharp. And now looking at that paint on the Green Ace, we have about 6 different colors here. And I have to say, I really am digging the color scheme on here. Very colorful, very bright, very different than what we're used to. So I like that quite a bit. So for the colors, first up is a beautiful green, a nice emerald green, if I could say that. Beautifully done. I love the color choice here. Next, we have some yellow on the fuselage, the wings, and also the logo on the side. Very nice. And speaking of that logo, we do have some light gray for the Naboo starfighter symbol. Pretty awesome. I think that came out great. Now, next, we have some dark gray for the laser cannons, the engines, the center section, the back, basically the whole bottom. Pretty cool. The aft section, looking good. And then in the front. Nice. Now, moving on, we do have silver on the canopy section. Very nice color. I like that quite a bit. And to build upon that, we do have glossy black. And the light reflects off of that. Very nice. I think they did a decent job with this one. Now that glossy black is not just for the canopy windows, but also the engine intakes and the backs of the engines. pretty sick. And that's basically every color on here, so that does it for the mold and the paint. So now let's put this baby back on a stand compared to some other ships, and then we'll be done. And just like other Hot Wheels ships, it comes with a cool translucent stand, peg it in the port like so, hear that click, and just like that, you're good to go. And now for a quick size comparison with the green ace seen in the center, we have a couple more Hot Wheels ships. Firstly, on the right hand side, we have the Fireball, a very unique looking ship. Then on the left hand side, we have Jango Fett's Slave 1. I really dig the paint scheme on here, pretty cool. All in all, some very nice looking ships here, and very colorful. And that does it today for my review of the Hot Wheels Star Wars Hype Fazon's Green Ace. Now, we looked at the mold, the paint, the stand, and in short, this is a magnificent vehicle in my opinion. The unique design is awesome. It has movable wings. It's colorful. That emerald green and yellow and gray really work together and make this ship pop. So I'm very happy to have this in my collection. And I fully recommend it for all you Hot Wheels collectors out there. This is a great ship. So I'll keep this review nice and short. That's everything I have to say about this beautiful ship today. I hope you enjoyed my video. If you did, hit that like button. And if you'd like to see new reviews every Thursday, subscribe. Again, thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. And I hope to see you next time. Bye, everybody.